Next principle for discerning God's will is one of my favorites, and one I think the world is missing the most, besides many other things. And me too, I miss this all the time. But let's jump into scripture here. Proverbs 23 verse 19 says, "Listen, my son or daughter, and be wise, and set your heart on the right thing." And check out the New Testament passage that applies to today's principle of discerning God's will. "For the grace of God has appeared that offers salvation to all people." It teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. Wow, so how do we say no? And how do we set our heart, which is deceitful and beyond cure, as Jeremiah 17 verse 9 says, on the right path? How do we do that? We use something called common sense. Okay, so what is the biblical perspective of common sense? How do we use this word that really isn't in Scripture in our lives? Applying practical and thoughtful judgment along with seeking God's guidance through prayer and studying His Word will empower your common sense to discerning God's will. And let me tell you the enemy of common sense: instant gratification. In a world full of things right at our fingertips, we don't want to wait. We don't want to read the Bible. We don't want to discern what we just went through. We want to make a decision right now. Don't do that. Don't do that. If we want to be a part of the uncommon things of life, i.e. feeding the 5,000 with the lunch, that common sense really wasn't used because that's crazy. God uses ordinary things to teach us, but if we want to be a part of the uncommon things of life and use common sense, we must attach ourselves to His Word. And as we apply this to our lives, here's my challenge to you. We must seek His guidance in word and prayer, and we will be able to use common sense to discern His will, not because of what we're doing, but because of who we're reflecting.